stars, how are you all? Welcome to your English class. Today we will study chapter 7 of your course book, that is 14.1. So let's begin with this chapter.
So let's start with chapter 7 of your course book. The name of chapter is 14.1. This is a play and this is first part of the play, so it's named as 14.1. This is written by Alice Iria Rustenberg. So let's start with it. If we take the overview of this chapter, then Mrs. Pringle, she is a wonderful hostess and she is about to host a party for 14 guests. With one of the guests backing out at the last moment, she is scared her plans would go all away with 13 to sit down to dinner, and she considers it as an inauspicious omen. Mrs. Pringle makes some phone calls to send out last-minute invites as her staff struggles to cope with fluctuating guest list. So, we will read this play to find out if the hostess manages to sustain her reputation. The different characters in the play are Mrs. Horace Pringle. She is a fashionable woman in 1920s New York. She gets easily upset but is a smart and capable person. Elaine, she is young daughter of Mrs. Pringle. Her mother is looking for a suitable match for her. Dunham is the butler. The scene of the play is the dining room of a New York house. There is a long table running from left to right, which is set elaborately for 14 guests. And the butler, Dunham, is adding the finishing touches as Mrs. Pringle enters in a hurry carrying a bouquet of flowers. So let's read the conversation. Mrs. Pringle: Dunham, I have just had a word from Mr. Harper that he was called away to the bedside of a friend who is very ill. He sent me these flowers. It's a good thing he did. I don't approve of young men refusing dinner invitations at the very last minute. She looks at the table anxiously and then at her watch. It's too bad. After you have set it all so beautifully and it's getting so late. Someone might be coming any moment. How's cook? Dunham: Cook's in a temper, as always, ma'am. Mrs. Pringle: I'm glad to hear it. Mrs. Pringle: I'm glad to hear it. She's like an actress. The better the temper, the better the performance. Where's Katsev? Dunham: There's an awful blizzard outside. He's sweeping off the sidewalk. Mrs. Pringle: Dear me, yes. I should have ordered an awning, but who expected a storm? She glances out of the window. Elaine comes in with a bunch of place cards. Elaine: Here are the place cards, mother, and the diagram. Shall I put them around? Mrs. Pringle: Yes, dear Elaine. I'm going up to look after your father. He's so helpless about his ties. She starts to leave the room. Remove one plate, Dunham. Dunham: Remove one plate, ma'am? But you couldn't sit down with 13. Mrs. Pringle: Why, you're right. That's all due to Mr. Harper's negligence. Sick friend? Nothing. He's just one of those careless men who never answer their invitations in time. His flowers indeed to make me forgive him. Now, look at the trouble he's put me to. 13. I wonder whom I could get to come in the last minute. She rushes to the telephone and looks madly through the list of acquaintances. So let me explain you what happened. Mrs. Pringle, she is hosting a dinner party. She has invited 14 guests and accordingly all the arrangements are done. Mr. Dunham, he has arranged the chairs, he has arranged for the dinner and all the plates and everything is well set on the table. which is the first scene of this play. And when Mrs. Pringle enters, she asked about the cook also, and Mr. Dunham is replying that cook is in a temper, and she is glad to know that cook is in temper because she cooks even more better when she is in temper. So everything is ready, and on the last minute she was being called up by Mr. Harper, one of her guests, who sent her the bouquet of flowers, regretting for not being able to come to the party because one of his friends is ill and he has to visit his friend. The number of guests is 13 now. So when she asked Mr. Dunham to remove one plate from the table, then Mr. Dunham interrogates her that is it possible that you're going to sit with 13 guests, because according to her 13 is an inauspicious omen, so she would find it difficult to sit with 13 guests because she is considering that 13 guests is inauspicious omen. So she has to make arrangements to call one more guest, and she is really worried whom she should invite at the last moment so that she should have the total number of guests equal to 14. She rushes towards the telephone and she is looking out through her address book to search for the next guest whom she can call and who can visit for the dinner at the last moment, so that she should have total 14 guests as per her arrangements, and 13 is an inauspicious for her. So let's continue reading this play. Dunham. There's Mr. Morgan, ma'am. He always tells a joke or two. Mrs. Pringle. Why, yes, Dunham. Hello, Santo Lakeview 5971. At once, please. Aline dear, your hair's much too tight. Pull it out. Come here. And in the telephone, she's speaking. This is Mrs. Pringle speaking from across the street. Yes, when Mr. Morgan comes in, please tell him to call me up right away. I want him to dine with us in about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, she pulls Aline's hair out to make it look fluffier. Aline makes a painful face, but her mother pays no attention. She hangs up the receiver. Now, if he shouldn't get it, then what I will do? Aline. Well, mother, I don't have to be at the table. It's your party anyway. Everybody's married and older than I am. Mrs. Pringle, pointing to the table diagram in Aline's hand. Didn't I put you next to Oliver Farnsworth? Millions. He's worth millions. Aline, well, he won't be giving me any. Mrs. Pringle, can't he marry you? Aren't you going to try to make a good match for yourself? I'm flying every eligible man I can put at your head. Can't you do the rest yourself? Aline, it's no use, mother. You're trying to marry me off to anyone as important as he is. He frightens me to death. I lose my tongue. I'm afraid of him as I would be afraid of the Prince of Wales. Mrs. Pringle, oh, New York has lost its heart to Prince of Wales. I was just telling Mr. Farnsworth yesterday that I would give anything to have the prince here. I would establish my social position for life, and I have such a reputation for being a wonderful hostess. Then the telephone rings. Dear me, the phone. Hello, Mrs. Sadwick, caught in a snowdrift. Can't get another car. She puts her hand over the telephone and speaks delightedly to Aline. Good, she can't come. That leaves us 12. Remove 2 plates, Dunham. So, in this part of the play, Dunham is recommending the name Mr. Morgan, that we can call him at the last moment. So Mrs. Pringle makes a phone call for Mr. Morgan and asks the receiver to inform him that I have called for dinner in just 10 minutes. I want him to dine with us. And in the meanwhile, she is looking at her daughter Aline. Her hair are not set properly. She wants her hair to look fluffier so that she should look some more attractive, so that everybody should pay attention towards her as she is looking for a suitable match for her. And Elaine, she is recommending that it's not necessary that she should be there on the table for dining, because everybody on the table is older and married, so she is escaping to sit and dine on the table with the guest. But Mrs. Pringle, she wants her to sit next to Mr. Oliver, because Oliver, he is a millionaire, he is a very rich person, and Mrs. Pringle wants that Mr. Oliver should marry her daughter. So their conversations are going on.
So this was all about page number 80, 81 and 82. We will continue page number 83 in our next video. If you have any doubt, any query, you can drop on Google Class. Thank you, Shen Stars. Take care all of you. Stay healthy.